Happy Tuesday, friends! I hope you're having a great day so far. Let's get our circle time started with The More We Get Together. Are you ready to sing with me? Okay, wait, I gotta get everybody's names. I got my list here because there's 20 names to remember. That's a little tricky for Mrs. Lambert when you're all not sitting in their classroom with me. Okay, I'm all ready to go. Are you ready to sing with me? Here we go. The more we get together, oh, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. Oh, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. Oh, here we are together. Oh, here we are together, all sitting on the computer. There's Brielle and Robbie and Nolan and Ellie and Rhonda and Sarah and Claire and Stone and William and Abby and Sela and Claire A and Kai and Jackson and Charlotte and Ryan and Anya and Isaiah and Sky and Julia and Missy and Miss Kuhn and Miss Lambert and everyone. Oh, here we are together, all sitting on the computer. All right, friends, today we're celebrating the letter L. L's are the easiest letters to write. They're made up of all straight lines. That makes it super duper simple for us to make. So grab a piece of paper, or you can write it in the air. And let me just review how to make the letter L. So an L is made up of straight lines. We always start our letters at the top. We go down and over. That's our capital L. Super simple. And then the lowercase l, it is like the K that we talked about yesterday. It is a tall letter as well, even when it's a lowercase. So a lowercase l looks just like that. Just a tall straight line down is the lowercase l. So although they look different, they're both very easy letters to print. So I'm thinking back to April, and I think everybody knew how to make L's, right? So good job, everybody. So can you think of what sound the L makes? It makes the ooh sound, like our song, Lick a Lollipop, right? So you're making a ooh. We want to be careful that we don't say la, like la la la. No, that's not the sound. The sound is a ooh. Okay, can you think of some words that start with an L sound? Or maybe some that end in an L sound. So let me think of a couple that start with an L. A lollipop, we just said that one. How about love and like? Those are popcorn words that start with an L. Let me think of a couple words that end with an L. How about pull, right? Pull. The last sound is the L. Let me think if I can find another one. How about a pill? Like a pill that you take if you're sick. Pill, right? So that's a pretty easy sound to usually hear in a word, that sound. So I was trying to think of an animal that starts with an L, and there are a few of them for sure, but I came up with this one because I have a book about a ladybug. So I thought today for circle time we could focus on ladybugs. So first I'm going to read this nonfiction book, and then we'll take a look at doing a couple other things with ladybugs. All right, so this is called Ladybug Life Cycle, and you know it's a nonfiction book because it's about real things. So yesterday in our circle time, we learned some koala facts, but I didn't have a book about koalas, but I got the information from the internet, which is a great way that you can research. But another way you can do animal research is by reading a book. And I'm trying to think when that was. I think it was back in probably March. We did animal research projects. Do you remember that? We went on the iPads and we used digital books, and you all picked an animal you wanted to research, and we read a book. Each of you read your own book about that animal, and you learned some animal facts. So that's what we're going to do today about ladybugs. So this nonfiction book starts off with a table of contents. And so chapter 1 is all about ladybugs, chapter 2, egg to larva, chapter 3, pupa to little ladybug, and chapter 4, all grown up. And it tells us what page we can find each of those chapters on. So chapter 1 is on page 4. Okay? So chapter 1, all about ladybugs. What is tiny, shiny, and dressed in a spotted coat? A ladybug. Ladybugs are insects. They are part of a group of insects called beetles. Ladybugs are not all ladies. They can be male or female. Ladybugs have 6 legs and 2 pairs of wings. One pair of wings is hard, and they protect another pair of wings that is fragile and used for flying. So this picture here kind of shows you the 2 pairs of wings. See, there's the outer wings, and then here are the soft wings inside. That's what fragile means. It means you can break easily. So you have to be extra careful with it because it's kind of like soft or it's easily breakable. And then here we have a labeled diagram of a ladybug. So we've got spot, hard wings, leg, head, antenna, and eye. But ladybugs do not begin their lives looking this way at all. Read on to learn about the life cycle of this incredible bug. It says ladybugs use their antenna to feel, smell, and taste. Wow, their antennas do a lot. Egg to larva. A ladybug starts life inside an egg. Females lay eggs on leaves. The eggs look like teeny yellow jelly beans. A few days later, the eggs hatch and out crawl tiny creatures. These are ladybug larvae. Munch, munch, they're so hungry, they eat their own eggshells. So it says one ladybug can lay 1,000 eggs during her lifetime. And ladybugs lay their eggs in the springtime. So that could be now. Right now it's late spring. It's almost summer. So ladybugs have probably already laid their eggs. So I'm going to get you a close up. So that's what the eggs look like. And then that is what they look like after they're hatched out and they kind of eat their eggs. So that doesn't look like a ladybug at all. If you saw that, you would not think to yourself, oh, there's a ladybug, right? It looks a little bit different when it's first born from its egg. The job of a larva is to eat, eat, eat. Its favorite food is a teeny bug called an aphid. A larva can eat 20 aphids in one day. An aphid looks like this up close. All that eating makes the larva grow and grow. It may not look like a ladybug yet, but just wait. Something amazing is about to happen. So that is what the larva looks like kind of up close. Okay, it definitely doesn't look like a ladybug yet. And it says a larva grows to be about this big. So this is the real size of a larva. It's kind of the size, if I put my finger over it, hold on. It's just a little bit bigger than my finger. Do you see that? See that there's not much on either side, so it's about that big, which is pretty small. But ladybugs are pretty small little insects too. Pupa to little ladybug. This is chapter 3. After a few weeks, the larva stops moving and attaches itself to a leaf. And then it turns into something called a pupa. A pupa is like a wrapped up present. Guess what happens next? About 1 week later, the pupa breaks open. Surprise! Out pops a little ladybug. Female ladybugs are bigger than the male ladybugs. So friends, this is pretty interesting. So this is what the pupa looks like. It's starting, you can tell, has the spots of a ladybug. And then it comes out of the pupa and it looks like a ladybug. So this is kind of like a caterpillar that turns into a butterfly, right? It's got different stages of its life. At first, the ladybug is soft and pale, but after a few hours, its shell gets hard and bright, like this. An adult ladybug is about this size. That's smaller than the larva that it came from. And that's a good point. Remember I showed you the larva was this size and the ladybug is this size. I could cover my whole finger on that. You wouldn't see it. But remember when I did this with the larva, kind of stuck out on the one side? Soon the ladybug is able to spread its wings and fly. Wow, at last it's all grown up. And this says, a ladybug flies to a flower. You get a really good shot of its wings on that picture. I love that picture. Life cycle review. Ladybugs have a very interesting life cycle. Do you remember the main 4 steps? The life cycle of most ladybugs takes 4 to 6 weeks. So day 1, a female ladybug lays its eggs. Okay. Day 2, a larva is born. It grows and it grows. 25 days, a larva turns into a pupa. And then 32 days, a pupa turns into a ladybug. Chapter 4, All Grown Up. There are more than 4,000 kinds of ladybugs in the world. Some are red with a few spots, some are red with lots of spots. Some ladybugs are brown or gold. Some are even sunny yellow. Ladybugs have 0 to 24 spots. How many spots do these have? So friends, look, this one only has 2 spots, but then you can see like this one has a lot of spots. During the summer, ladybugs eat lots of aphids and small insects. Munch, munch. They want to have full stomachs for the long winter ahead. Why? Because many kinds of ladybugs hibernate. They gather in groups, then they hide under the leaves, rocks, or logs to sleep all winter. So here's a picture of a bunch of ladybugs hibernating for the winter. And this is a picture. It says, ladybugs eat the pollen off flowers too. That's pretty cool to think about ladybugs hibernating. When we think about hibernating animals, we think of groundhogs or bears. So that's pretty cool to think little ladybugs do the same thing. In spring, the ladybugs wake up and the females lay eggs. After that, the incredible ladybug life cycle starts all over again. Ladybugs are also called lady beetles and ladybirds. And then there's that glossary, and we've talked about that many times when we've read nonfiction books, that a glossary tells us what words mean. So if you didn't know what fragile meant, it means easy to break. And if you didn't know what hibernate means, it tells us that it means to go into a deep sleep that lasts through the winter. And that's the end of our ladybug book. So I have a ladybug puppet. I thought we could do a couple poems about ladybugs. So here is my puppet. He's got all of the parts that he needs. He's got his antennas and his 6 legs and his wings here on the back. And remember that inside these wings, there is the fragile wings, right? All right, so I've got 3 different poems or songs for you about ladybugs. So the first one is, ladybug, ladybug, fly out of the farm and land right on my little arm. Ladybug, ladybug, fly out of the tree and land right on my little knee. Ladybug, ladybug, fly out of bed and land right on my little head. Ladybug, ladybug, fly out of the rose and land right on my little nose. And friends, this is a very large ladybug. Can you look how silly that looks on my nose? But you know that ladybugs are actually really small insects. So if it landed on your nose, it would just be a little tiny thing there. All right, the next one is to the tune of I'm a Little Teapot. So it goes like this. I'm a little ladybug, pretty as can be. I'm an insect as you can see. I am brightly colored with spots of black. You can see them on my back. All right, and the last poem goes like this. Ladybug, ladybug on that tree. Fly down here and sit with me. Rest on my hand and I'll count your spots. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 polka dots. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's counting by twos. Let's count how many spots my ladybug has. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So what is 3 plus 3? Do you know? Can you count them? That's 6. So this ladybug has 6 spots. The other cool thing about this ladybug is it is symmetrical. Remember, when things are symmetrical, it means they're the same on both sides. And today in our live meeting this morning, we talked about the line of symmetry. And that's the invisible line down the middle of something, and it would be the same on both sides. Not everything is symmetrical, but this ladybug is symmetrical. If I was to cut her in half, she would have an antenna on each side, an eye on each side. She'd have 3 spots on each side, and she'd have her wings on each side. Oh, and 3 legs on each side. So my ladybug is symmetrical. So I hope you joined us during our live class so you could have learned about symmetry. I know we talked about it this year, but it's always good to review it. All right, so we're going to do something that was in that book. We are going to make a scientific drawing. Another word for scientific drawing is a labeled diagram. And the book had a labeled diagram in it, and that is right here. So I am going to teach you how to make a ladybug picture, and we are going to label it. Okay, we're going to just put a couple labels on it. So what you need to do is you need to go and grab a piece of paper and a red and a black if you have them. And then what I want you to do is pause this video here if you need to go get those materials, and then come back to your workspace and you can unpause it and we'll get going on our next thing. Okay, so go ahead and pause and go and find what you need right now to do this. All right, so hopefully you have everything you need. I have what I need. And we are going to use some simple shapes to make our ladybug today. So we need a red and a black if you have it. And if you don't have it, that is okay, because even in our story, they talked about how ladybugs can be different colors. But I am going to start with my red for its body. So you have your piece of paper that looks like this. And we're not going to start right at the very top, because that's where the head belongs. And we're not going to start with the head. We're going to start with its abdomen. So what we're going to do is about right here, we're going to draw a line that looks like this, just a little scoop kind of. Okay. And then we're going to make the rest of its abdomen, and we're just going to go down like this on this side, and this on this side. And it is absolutely okay if yours doesn't look the exact same as mine. Everybody's ladybug can look different, okay? So that's going to be the red part of our ladybug, and we can color it in after. And then you're going to need your black. All right, now we're going to make the thorax. So we're going to just, see this end here where we started our scoop? We're going to bring it up and around to meet the other end, like that. And now we're going to draw its head on top, and we're just going to make a nice, you can make a circle or an oval shape up here and make its head. So now you have the 3 parts of its body, the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. So hopefully you have those 3 parts. And then what we're going to do is we're going to give it his antennas. So we're going to do 2 lines like this. Those are going to be the antenna. And then we're going to separate his wings, because you remember how his wings kind of separated like this. And these are just the wings on the outside. Remember, there are also wings on the inside. But I'm going to put a line down through the middle, like this, because that's where the wings can open up. And you get to decide how many spots you want to put on your ladybug. I would like you to make your ladybug symmetrical though. So if I put a dot right here in the middle on this side, I'm going to put a dot here too. Okay, so whatever you do to this side, you're going to do to this side. So I'm going to put a dot up here in the corner. So I'm going to put one up in the corner on this side of the ladybug. So remember, symmetrical means when you cut it in half, it looks the same on both sides. Okay, and then I'm going to put a dot down here, and then here. So spend a minute and just put your dots. I think that's all the dots I'm going to do. And then if you have some crayons, I'm going to kind of rush mine. You can take your time. You can, if I'm going too fast for you, pause the video anytime, no problem. Okay? So I'm just going to very quickly color in. You probably will want to take your time, and that's totally great. I'm totally rushing just to show you. Remember, when you color, you want to try and always go the same way, but again, I'm really rushing, so mine does look a little bit messy, but I am trying to stay inside the lines. I don't want to scribble out here. You guys have gotten really good at coloring this year, so I know most of you don't scribble outside the lines. You really take your time and you focus on the job, right? It's when we take our eyes off the paper that sometimes we get a little silly and we're just kind of scribbling everywhere. So we want to look at the paper the whole time. If you need to take your eyes off the paper, then you stop coloring and kind of look up. Okay, so I totally rushed mine, so you might want to pause the video right now and finish coloring. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the legs now. So, do you remember how many legs an insect has? Has 6 legs. It has 3 on each side and they're symmetrical. Now, a ladybug's legs do have a little bit of a bend in them, but it might be a little hard for you to draw, so that's okay. You can make their legs just straight lines if you want. Actually, I'm going to do that because I just want it to be simple for you. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and then the third one comes here at the top. And then I need to do the exact same 3 legs on the other side. So 1, 2, 3. So then I have my 6 legs. Okay, and then if you want, you can grab your black crayon, and this might be one of those times where you have to pause the video again, no problem, and you're going to color in the black part. Again, I am rushing. You are going to take your time. Okay, so if you're not caught up to me, what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and when you finish coloring in all the black, you can turn the video back on. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Now we're going to label a couple parts of our diagram. We're not going to label all the parts of it because that would be a lot of words, but I want you to take, I'm going to take a green so you can see it, and when we label something, we put a line to that part of the body. So I'm going to label his leg down here. So I'm going to put a line like this. You can make it an arrow if you want, like this. And we're going to do the word leg. So what does leg start with? Right, it's our letter of the day. So, egg, leg. So can you try to write leg on one of the legs? Okay, now we're going to do its head. So its head is up here. So I'm going to draw another arrow. You don't have to do the arrow part on the end. You can just do a straight line. And what does head start with? An H. We did that last week when we had hat day, didn't we? So we've got our H. And then the next 2 letters in head are E, A. And then the last letter is head, D. And we have already reviewed the D letter this year. Do you remember what it is? D. It's a D. Head. Okay, let's just do one more label. So how about we do, trying to think, why don't we do the antenna? Okay, it's got a lot of letters in it, but I will help you with it. So we're going to do a little arrow, or you can just do a straight line, and I am going to spell antenna for you, and I wonder if you can follow along and write the letters as I say them. Okay, so an A, You all know how to make an A, so you probably don't have to look at mine. N, T. T is a tall letter, so it should be taller than your N and your A. Then your E, and then N again, A, and then an E at the end. So your only tall letter is your T. All right, there are a lot of other parts of our ladybug that we could label if we wanted to, but I think that's good for today. You worked hard on your diagram, and I'm really proud of you for that. So good stuff, everyone. All right, before we go, I want to remind you that you have Miss Hildebrandt today. She has left some activities on our D2L page, so you can go ahead and check that out. She always does great things for you, and I think you'll like her video. And it's time for us to say goodbye. Can you sing with me? All right, here we go. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Be sweet, parakeet. Give a hug, ladybug. See you soon, raccoon. Out the door, dinosaur. Take care, polar bear. Blow a kiss, goldfish. Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.